opposite of suicide? Is it not dying of suicide? Not acting on suicidal thoughts? Not just thinking about suicide? How we answer this depends on what we think suicide is like. So, if suicide is like a virus, then it makes sense that the opposite would just be not having suicidal thoughts or behaviors, right? The opposite of having a cold is just not having the cold virus in our system. But what if suicide is less like a cold and more like thirst? Well, the opposite wouldn't be the absence of anything. That's the problem. But the opposite of thirst is the presence of something else, of something more. And I bring this up because how we think about suicide is a big deal. It shapes how we respond to people, how we help people in a suicidal crisis. And because for most of us, suicide is not just this abstract idea, but a very personal reality that has impacted us in some way. That we've known people, family or friends, who have died by suicide, who are wrestling with suicidal thoughts, who are recovering from a suicidal crisis. Maybe even personally, we know what this wrestling match with hopelessness is all about. The truth is that here in the United States, those affected by the silent epidemic of suicide is in the millions. Or closer to home, here in Tennessee, the number of people dying by suicide every year is between 900 and 1,000, more than the people dying in motor vehicle accidents every year. And here in my hometown of Nashville, we lose nearly 100 people every year to suicide. This desperate reality in which we find ourselves must be stopped, and it starts with how we think. So, in broad brushstrokes, we know that people who die by suicide think about it when they are in such horrific pain, and they see no hope of that pain ever getting any better. In fact, this pain and hopelessness is so deep that it's even deeper to any connection they have to life, any relationship or meaning that they see. To dig a bit deeper, one of the leading theories points to 3 types of pain that drive people to suicide. The first being when they don't feel like they belong anywhere, not with friends or with family or the community, anywhere, they just don't fit. And they pair that with not only not belonging anywhere, but feeling like a burden on others. They make things worse for their family or their friends or society. And then finally, the third type is hopelessness, that they will never belong anywhere, and they will always be a burden on others. And the weight of that becomes too much to bear. And when we think about suicide in this way, then the idea of what the opposite of suicide starts to emerge and offer hope for us all. So instead of not belonging anywhere, the opposite is belonging, of relationship, of community, of connection, of intimacy, of being a part of something, of a group. And the opposite of being a burden on others is giving to others, helping people out, having gifts to share with the next generation, or being part of a cause that makes the world better, or making something beautiful for the world. And when we experience even just these glimpses of belonging and of giving, then we have hope that there is a life worth living out there, even in the midst of pain. And these twin themes of belonging, of giving, lots of ways to say it, community and meaning, relationship and purpose, work and love, these themes resonate not only with those of us in a suicidal crisis, but just with us as people. And this is what we need, and that this is what makes life worth living. And so what I'd like to offer is that the opposite of suicide is not just the absence of something, the absence of a type of thought or behavior, but the presence of a life filled with meaning, that a life that is worth living even in the midst of horrific pain. A life that is characterized by giving and belonging. And so what we do about this, as family, as friends, as mental health professionals, is do everything we can to walk with people to grow a life worth living, even in the midst of pain. A life where there's opportunity to belong and opportunities to give and experience this hope. I love coming to work every day because I get to join Mental Health Cooperative's emergency psychiatric services to walk with people towards this life worth living, to live out every day that there is hope and there is help. And it is a privilege to partner with you in working towards this.